It is 100% possible to become one of the fittest and strongest people you've ever met right here at home using a few household items like a stool, a broomstick, a couple chairs, a table, and that's about it. First things first, a proper warm-up, and that is 2 parts. Number 1 is gonna be all about blood flow. You wanna get the blood flowing through all the different parts of your body, especially the parts that you're gonna be using in the workout. Once you've done that, we move on to the second part of the warm-up, muscle activation. So the goal here is to activate the muscles that you're gonna use in the workout gradually so that by the time you get to the more difficult exercises, they are ready to go and firing on all cylinders. There is no one size fits all with all of this stuff. Tap in with your body, get in tune with your different body parts, and make sure you are doing what you set out to do, which is activate those muscles and get them ready to go. We're gonna start with our pushing drills. Drill number 1 is gonna be the good old classic push-up. Make sure you understand how to do it full range of motion. In calisthenics, we're all about really understanding the mechanics and the full range of motion. Now, how to make a push-up easier. 1, you elevate the hands. The higher your hands are, you can even do it on the wall. The higher your hands are, the easier the push-up. The lower your hands are, the harder. The second way that you can make your push-up easier is by doing it on your knees.
Pause.
Pause what?
Now that you figured out how to make the push-up easier, now how do we make push-ups harder? So the first way to make your push-ups harder is gonna be to play with the tempo by slowing down the eccentric part of the motion and speeding up the concentric part of the motion. If you start doing your reps like this, you will notice that they are significantly more challenging than just busting out a bunch of reps. Second way to make your push-ups harder, you grab your trusty stool, you elevate the feet instead of elevating the hands. On the topic of making push-ups harder, there are so many different variations of push-ups that you could use to make push-ups more challenging and to also change where the emphasis of the push-up is coming from. You can introduce certain variations that are gonna put more weight on a single arm. So the best 2 variations that I could suggest are archer push-ups. You're gonna come down towards one arm and back up, keeping the other arm completely locked out. The second variation is going to be typewriters. Very similar to archer push-ups, except this time you're gonna go down straight and then you're gonna go from side to side while you're down. And it's a great way to make push-ups a lot harder, and it's a great way to start working towards a one-arm push-up, right? Because it's very much the same concept. Learning how to activate one side of your chest and hold all your body up. Now, on the topic of switching up the variations, another way you can switch up variations is by doing more explosive type of push-ups. This is similar to the tempo we were talking about, except this time you're really gonna try to explode and get your hands off the ground. The most basic of the explosive push-ups is gonna be just simple lifting your hands off the ground. If that gets easy for you, you can start giving yourself a round of applause. You'll be able to also switch your grip in certain ways to change where the pressure is. So a lot of these push-ups that I've shown you so far are gonna help you develop a strong chest. Secondarily, they're gonna work your triceps and a little bit of your front delt. But there are certain push-up variations where most of the emphasis is on the tricep. Your skull crushers, you wanna move your feet a little further back than usual and put a lot more emphasis on your tricep, a lot less on the chest. The second push-up that I would use for tricep development, I call them Russian push-ups because they remind me of Russian dips. Down, back touch the elbow, forward, up. You're gonna notice it's a lot more emphasis on the tricep and a little bit more on the elbow. So go easy with these at the beginning, but definitely if you do them right and you don't overdo them, they're gonna help you build the necessary conditioning to be able to do muscle ups, and they're gonna develop your triceps like crazy. Finally, one of my favorite push-up variations, the diamond push-up. Really good for developing triceps and really good for putting more emphasis on the middle of your chest. So we've talked about push-ups, we've talked about how to alter your push-ups to hit your triceps. The last thing I'm gonna talk about for push-ups is how to alter your push-ups to hit your delts. One is gonna be your pseudo planche push-ups. Arms facing outwards, get into a plank position, engaged scapula, engaged core. You're gonna lean forward slightly, okay? The further you lean, the harder it gets. And all you're gonna do is come down until your hands are waist level and come back up. What that's gonna do is it's gonna shift the emphasis from your chest to your front delts, a little bit to your bicep, and obviously the scapula and secondary muscles you're using to stay engaged. And it's really gonna help you develop strong front delts, especially if planche is in the cards for you down the line. The next exercise for developing your shoulders is probably gonna be one of the most important exercises in calisthenics, your pike push-ups. You wanna start in a normal push-up position. All you wanna do is walk your feet forward till you hit a nice pike. And then from there, you're gonna go down, forehead towards the ground. These are super important to develop strong shoulders. Try to go for your forehead for the ground. If you go for the top of your head, it's gonna change the emphasis from the front delt and it's gonna put it more on your traps. So for your standard variation, try to go forehead to the ground. You could use the other variations strategically if you need to. Keep working on your pike push-ups. They're super important. You're gonna do them before you can do any of the advanced skills. This is one of the best exercises that's gonna help you if you're trying to learn a handstand, and especially if you're trying to learn a handstand push-up, because essentially it is the same mechanics as a handstand push-up. Let's talk about dips. And the first variation is gonna be tricep dips. You could do these on a chair too, on a step. Put your legs out in front of you. You're gonna come down till your arms hit 90 degrees and back up, okay? Next up, standard dips. And you're gonna go all the way down till you hit 90 and back up. You're gonna rep it out. Now, there are many different variations of dips you can do. Every different way that you incline your body is gonna shift the emphasis a little less from the chest, more to the shoulders or more to the tricep. That said, do not sleep on your dips. They are super, super important. The nice thing about an angle countertop is gonna help you get a bit more depth. Let's move on. Now that we've gotten through our push drills, welcome to the pull section of the tutorial. Rows. Rows are the key to training your pulling muscles at home. There's a bunch of different variations you can do. All you need is a door frame and eventually that trusty broom we had earlier. First thing, door frame rows. Find any door frame at home, grab it, both sides, and what you're gonna do is lean back, straight body, engaged core, all the way locked out, pull, come back down, okay? If that gets easy for you, you can move your hands further down. It'll lean you further back, make it a little heavier. Same concept, pull all the way down. Now, if that gets too easy for you, you could do a one arm variation, okay? Put your other arm behind your back, and from there, pull. It's a beautiful variation that's really gonna get your bicep going as well as your lat. Now, obviously, you're gonna have to work with the grip that you got, but that's not a terrible thing. Once you've got those down, you're gonna go back, grab the broom, just pick a height that's comfortable for you. The higher the broomstick, the easier. You're gonna jam your broomstick in your door frame, nice and secure. Start with a standard grip. From there, you're gonna put your feet out in front of you, locked out arms, straight, engaged core. You're gonna pull all the way up, all the way down. Great exercise. It's gonna get your lats fired up as well as your rear delts. Now, if this gets easier for you, you can drop the broom a little bit lower, and it's gonna get a lot harder the lower you go, okay? Just make sure you don't have socks on so your feet don't slip and you're as safe as you can be. Another great thing with these is you could switch up the variation to put more emphasis on different muscles. So if you really want to hit your biceps, I would go for a supinated grip. And then from there, just work the rows and really make sure you are consciously putting effort in the muscles you want to use the most. You could try a narrow grip as well, or a wide grip. Mess around with it, see what you like best. Great exercise that you could do at home. So if you've done all those different row variations and they're still not quite challenging enough, the best I can offer you is table rows. Find a table you have at home, clear some space, get underneath it. I like to roll my socks halfway down so I don't slip. What you do, you find a nice position, plant your heels into the ground, get a good grip on the table, and from there, lift up, engage your core. From the bottom, pull up, back down. If you do these full range of motion, you'll notice they are definitely the most challenging of all the variations. And as you get more and more advanced, the table is a great place for you to start training your tuck front lever or even your full front lever. Right here at home. We've done push, we've done pull, now let's do core. So, first, most important exercise for core when it comes to calisthenics, it's your planks. High planks, elbow planks, side planks, and eventually, as these get easier, your planche lean will come into the equation. It's pretty straightforward. Straight arms if you're doing high planks, bent arms if you're doing low planks. Don't let, same as the push-up, don't let the scapula sink, don't let the core sink. Keep everything engaged and hold it. Moving on from planks, and I do not say this lightly, the absolute most important exercise in all of calisthenics, the hollow body hold. By far, the skill that's gonna be the most useful to your progress in calisthenics. Eventually, when you're doing planches and front levers and handstands and back levers, you're always gonna rely on a strong, solid hollow body hold. So it's very important that you learn how to perform it correctly. What you wanna do is you wanna start lying down completely flat. What you will notice is that there is a gap between your low back and the ground. Your goal to perform a correct hollow body hold is to close that gap. You do it by doing two things, and it all comes from the core. Raising up your legs, and then you're gonna raise up your shoulders and your arms. Now, you notice the gap is no longer there. From there, you're gonna work on bringing your legs down as far as you can, keeping your shoulders slightly up, but bringing them down as well, and making sure that the core is active, the lower abdomen is active, and the gap is closed, pushing your low back into the ground. This is a correct hollow body hold, and you need to learn how to perform it correctly to progress as much as you can in calisthenics. Okay, I didn't mean to be too lectury there, but I cannot emphasize enough how important this skill is. It's important for everything you're gonna do, and it is by far the best way to build a strong core. Now, I explained the holds, but there are a lot of different variations of crunches you can do that incorporate the hollow body. You could be doing different bicycle variations, V-ups, or my personal favorite, relax, snap to hollow. Relax, snap to hollow. It's gonna help you develop a really good understanding of the movement, which you really, really need. And in the long run, it's going to heal most low back issues that people have. Trust me, I've had problems with my low back, and the number one exercise that I've used to help with it has been hollow body holds, because they really strengthen your lower abdomen and your hip flexors as well. So don't sleep on hollow bodies. The last of the bunch for core that I'm gonna talk about is purely compression exercises. And that is really, really gonna isolate especially the lower abdomen and especially the hip flexor area. What you're gonna do, you're gonna start seated in an L position, and you're gonna put your hands next to you. Now, the further forward your hands are, the harder it is. The further back they are, the easier it is, okay? So start with your hands back. What you're gonna do with straight legs and a straight back, you're gonna push your hands into the ground and lift your legs up. And you're gonna rep it out. It looks easy, it is definitely not easy. It's one of the hardest exercises, and it's gonna get you really fired up in the hip flexors and the lower abdomen, okay? If it is easy for you, you can move your hands from back there a little bit more forward, bringing your back forward, and it's gonna require a lot more compression strength to lift the legs up, okay? Another way alternately that you could do this is by straddling, and you can do each leg individually. And eventually this is gonna help you a lot if you're trying to move on to harder skills like the L-sit. Last but not least, we cannot forget about our legs. Okay, so in calisthenics, we're all about full range of motion. So we're really gonna focus on getting real good depth with our squats and our leg exercises. A great way to do that, especially if you're someone like me who has issues with ankle mobility, is to elevate your heel. So I'll find two books that are of the same thickness, very important. I'll put them behind me and use them to get my heel up. So I have a reconstructed ankle, and if I don't do this, I can barely do half squats, can't get the full range of motion, can't hit full depth, and I cannot develop my legs correctly. So this has been a lifesaver for me to be able to go down all the way, get that real depth in my squat, and all the way back up, okay? So, as you've probably guessed by now, your bread and butter for developing legs is gonna be your squat in calisthenics. So, standard squat, all the way down, all the way up. Once those get easier for you, you could do the same thing you did for push-ups and rows, which is play with your tempo, maybe slow eccentrics, hold the bottom, and then explode on your way up. Another thing you could do is jump squats. Up, down, up. Just like that. You could work your way through the progressions from easiest to hardest till you develop some of the harder skills like pistol squats, for example. So obviously for me, this is a skill that I'm still working on, but it's a great one. I definitely feel it in my legs, especially the day after, and I can see some serious gains with it. That said, I will not lie to you. When it comes to training legs, I personally love to go to the gym. I find that very few things beat weights, but if you can develop true strength and coordination, there's absolutely no excuse why you can't develop strong, muscular legs right here at home. If there's anything else you want to see, drop it in the comment section, and I will see you next time.